of Creative Coaching is an international certification program with courses in health and wellness coaching, spiritual coaching, relationship coaching, executive coaching, life coaching, and cultural competency coaching. Courses are online, hybrid, or face-to-face. The Academy of Creative Coaching is empowering coaches to empower the world. Make a positive change in yourself and the world. Go to academyofcreativecoaching.com.
All right, good morning and welcome to the Live Exchange, where we exchange compelling dialogue around love, politics, and intellect every Thursday from 11 to 1. I'm Dr. Pamela, and today we are going to explore the mind. We're looking at mindfulness, meditation, and manifestation. What does all this mean? We hear about it, we get on Oprah, and we hear Oprah talking about it, and it's some people think it's like woo-woo-woo stuff, but you know what? This is information for the ages. This is information that we've known forever, and it just gets repackaged in different ways over time. So today we'll be discussing part 2 of the power of the mind and how the way you think shapes your life. Yes, your mind is more powerful than you think. You can think your way through an amazingly fulfilling life, or you can think your way into pure misery. Now, let me be clear. An amazing, fulfilling life does not mean an easy, problem-free life, but it does mean that you can be a master of overcoming what comes your way simply by the way you think. Now, how empowering is that? Today's guest, Charles, also known as Chuck, is the Vice President of Client Management at iSuccess Consulting, and he joins me today to share his experience and his expertise on how mindfulness, meditation, and manifestation can lead to powerful living. As always, we've got some trending topics to discuss, and my weekly balance challenge, and all of that. So I want to welcome Chuck. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me back.
No problem. It's good to have you. It's good to have you.
Good to be back. Thank you.
Yes. Well, last time Chuck was here, he was talking about living a healthy life, and we got into the physical aspect of it and eating well and all of that, but we didn't really delve into the mind part of it. So. Yes. We talked about it after the show, and I thought, oh my gosh, we got to come back and talk about this.
Yes.
So thank you so much for coming back.
My pleasure.
So I'm just curious, and I guess it'd be really good off the bat to kind of give them an idea of what mindfulness, meditation, and manifestation mean. They all work together, but they all have very different meanings. So.
Exactly.
What do you think?
All right. Well, let's start off with a few definitions here.
Okay.
And I like to go to Wikipedia myself and kind of dumb it down for me.
They do make it simple. We don't allow that for research, but it does make things very simple.
Yes. So meditation, or let's start with mindfulness. It's defined as the psychological process of bringing one's attention to the internal and external experiences occurring in the present moment, which can be developed through the practice of meditation and other training, i.e., it is essentially living in the now.
Okay.
All right, let's look at meditation. So,
well wait, let's back up, though, with the mindfulness. And there was a lot of words there.
Yes.
But the i.e., living in the moment really kind of paints a picture of what it means in general.
Okay.
I'm asking, is that what your understanding?
That's correct.
Okay.
A lot of times, we as people, the human race, we're living in two places, either the past or the future.
Not the present.
Not the present. And the symptoms of that, living in the past, is regret. We're regretting what happened yesterday, last week, last month.
Ooh, I'm bad with that.
And it's a constant. I don't want to say struggle, but it's part of our everyday evolution to get from living in the past of regret, and then the future, anxiousness. Oh my goodness, I have such and such coming
anxiety.
up.
Yes.
Yeah. And so being able to just be present in the now, like at this very moment, whatever it is you're doing, and not worrying about what happened yesterday, not worrying about what may happen tomorrow, because as far as tomorrow or the future goes, 9 times out of 10, what you're dreading isn't going to happen.
big right there.
It is.
You guys need to tweet that or put that on there. 9 times out of 10, what you're dreading is not going to happen.
Yes, yeah.
Why is that? Do we exaggerate things in our mind, or?
From what I've seen, yes.
Okay.
And let me qualify everything that you're going to hear from me today. This has come from not only research, but life experiences over my spiritual awakening, which has taken place, I'd say, over the past 16 years.
Okay.
On and
so
off.
You know a little something.
Yeah,
about
I know a little something
okay.
about it. Yes.
And those of you who are watching on Facebook, if you have found yourself kind of guilty, and maybe guilty is not the right word, but guilty of looking, thinking about the past, having regrets, kind of mulling over things that you've done, send some thumbs up, because I want to see if that's your experience, because that's definitely my experience. I've definitely so tap the thumbs up thing if that is what you've experienced in your own, kind of dealing with regret. And so yeah, it looks like nobody deals with regrets but me. I guess it's just me. All right, that's cool. And then there's also that issue of the future, of having anxiety over what might happen, in the future. And so if anybody experienced that, thumbs up, maybe? No, I don't know. But
one just came in.
Oh, we just got one. Okay, anxiety about the future. I mean, and maybe that's more of a thing than regrets of the past for some people, than the other, so.
Well, more so the anxious part is, let's use an example that I think we all can relate to. It may be like a bill is coming due, or
those are scary.
Yeah. And it's just like, oh my god, what am I gonna do? Particularly if you've been in a pinch. And it's like, okay, I robbed Peter to pay Paul. Now I have to pay Peter back. How am I gonna do this? How am I gonna do that?
Right.
And the thing, if you stop for a moment and think about it, no matter what happens, your life is going to go on.
That is true.
It is. And what is meant to happen is going to happen.
Okay.
So one of the things that I found out in my own personal experiences with the mindfulness is, and you stated it very well, just because you get to a point even of mastering it, when you look at yogis and sages, we'll still have challenges thrown our way that we can't control.
Right.
Now, I will say this, they will be less, but nonetheless, you will still have those challenges. And it's not the challenges themselves that come at you, it's how you deal with them, how you perceive them.
Now, when you say that the challenges will be less, do you mean that they'll be less intense, or there will be fewer challenges? Or both?
From my experience, I say both.
Oh, okay.
And this gets into, I may be getting ahead of what we're going to talk about, but this gets into the whole mind thing.
Okay.
Our thoughts have energy. And just like our words have energy, just like our actions have energy. So for your guests that are listening, if you look up quantum physics, it studies all of this. It's the vibrations, frequencies, movements. And what quantum physics tells us is that everything, your computer, the desk, the table, is vibrating and moving. Even though it looks solid, it is actually moving.
Yeah.
So, was it the law of vibration? Everything is constantly moving. Energy is moving into form, out of form. It's neither created nor destroyed.
And those vibrations affect one another.
Exactly.
They have an impact on one another.
Exactly.
Well, we're gonna get a little bit more into that, because for those of you who missed it, we're gonna revisit this vibration thing right after the break. We'll be right back.
Okay, so 5 tacos of cheese and a large soda. That's $10,012. Please drive around.
10,000 what?
It's obvious you're buzzed and driving.
I've only had a few. I'm fine.
Yeah, the food's $12, but getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Please drive around. Actually, just park and come in.
Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Coming to Tampa Bay, I said we want to win a Super Bowl, and I believe we will.
From IamSecond.com.
We came close, but never really did win that championship.
Former NFL head coach Tony Dungy.
At the end of my 6th year, I was fired, and it was one of the biggest disappointments of my life. Next year, I'm in Indianapolis, get to the playoffs, but get knocked out again. And And for the next couple of years, it's the same thing. Everyone is saying Colts are never going to win one. And I did wonder, why didn't it pan out the way I thought it would? But I determined that I had to have Christ first, and that everything else came below that, including my own desires. The next year, that ended up being our year to go to the Super Bowl and win it. And it was a wonderful feeling. Every decision I make, I'm going to make it through the lens of Jesus Christ, and he'd guide us to that ultimate victory. I'm Tony Dungy, and I am second.
JBT 700 Miami Circle 30324. It's not a chain, it's a chain reaction.
Invest $49 a month at a real gym.
For more info, go to facebook.com/Jeans Body Tech.
Sitting here reading about HIV in Atlanta and its surrounding areas. Did you know we're number 8 in the nation?
I know.
You need to get tested.
Nah, I don't get down like that. I'm good.
But you are a ladies' man. You don't know who they're with when they're not with you.
If I need to get tested, so do you.
No, I don't. I'm married.
True, but you don't know who he's with when he's not with you.
Oh, you got jokes. He's not like that.
Fact is, no one really knows what their partner is doing or who their partner is with when they're away.
Well, I'll get tested if you get tested.
Cool. Where can we go?
This article I'm reading says the Lifeline Project of CSB does free HIV testing. Let's go there.
Lifeline Project, here we come.
The Lifeline Project is a SAMHSA grant. For more information on free testing, please call 770-499-2422 or visit us on the web at www.cobcsb.com.
Primary election.
Lack of diversity.
Gas prices.
Michael Jackson. Trending topics.
All right. So, what is trending? There's a lot trending, right? We know there's a lot trending. And there's still elements of the election that's still trending and all of that. But what I really wanted to highlight is the racism that's being called out. So there are acts of racism that we've seen happen, against people of color. And there's, of course, things that some folks of color have done that's not cool either. So, but there is the vast majority of the stuff that I've seen has been crimes and hate, acts of hate against people of color. And there is a very interesting, and I'm so glad that this got called out and that this got addressed, but in Clay, West Virginia, I'm sure many of you have heard about this, but according to the Washington Post, their officials are fighting for their community's reputation and to try to rebuild their reputation after racist comments about Michelle Obama prompted the mayor of the town to resign. I'm sure you haven't heard about that?
Sure,
okay,
sure
so Mayor Beverly Whaling, who had commented approvingly on a Facebook post, basically comparing the First Lady to an ape, and the words, the actual quote said, it will be so refreshing to have a classy, beautiful, dignified First Lady back in the White House. I'm tired of seeing a ape in heels.
Wow.
Yes. So this, and then the mayor responded and said, she commented and said something like, "You just made my entire day with this post."
Wow.
And so the mayor co-signed on this statement, and so basically the mayor resigned. I don't know if this was fully voluntarily, but if you can only imagine the conversations that happened behind closed doors,
yeah.
There was nothing but resigning was kind of inevitable. And the person who made the original post and I hate that she has my name, but Pamela Ramsey Taylor, who was the director of the Clay County Department Corporation. She's the one who made the original post, and she was let go as well. So that is, and I'm really glad they got called out on it. There was a petition that was up on social media. This is how I found out about it. And, I don't know if it was the petition that did it, but surely, like I said, those behind the door, closed doors conversations had an impact.
Oh, yeah. Yes, definitely.
Yes. And then some good news. A group of, which I kind of hate this label, but it is what it is. A group of Black Lives Matter protesters. It bothers me because it's like, because there's such a negative connotation attached to it when really it's just about social justice and, but anyway, they met a counter matter protest group on the streets of Dallas. So there was the Black Lives Matter protesters were on one side. It was a very peaceful protest. They're just walking down the street, and calling, chanting and things like that. And then on the other side of the street, they were met by a counter group, and that basically was like against the Black Lives Matter movement. A group of Black Lives Matter protesters. The member of the counter group said, we have Black Lives Matter and stuff. We all matter, hell. Quote. That was his quote. The protesters then crossed the street, and then what happened were hugs, prayers, tears, and the statement that we're all brothers and sisters, and it's time for us to stop this today. No more walls. And before going home, they prayed for the city of Dallas together. So really interesting. And there's three things that this really tells me. It tells me that we're all hurting, but we place the blame in the wrong place, and consequently it's turning people who really could band together against each other. And because, and number two, blacks and whites are often divided over race, but socioeconomically, we face some of the exact same challenges. There's a lot of things that we have. We have many more things in common than we have different from each other. However, number three is that I don't want this to negate the pervasive power that institutional racism has, and that it that exists and that suppresses people of color in this country. A lot of people say, oh, it's no longer about race, it's about economics. Well, yeah, it's about economics too, but I would not say it's no longer about race. I mean, I think what's happened over the last few years with race really coming out of the woodworks, we can no longer argue it's no longer about race. People were talking post-racial America when President Obama was elected. Yeah. Are we post-racial? I don't know about all that. Any thoughts? Well, you got 30 seconds if you have any thoughts.
My personal opinion, you can't discuss economics without discussing race, because there is still a huge disparity in wealth between blacks and whites. Now I guess I should say that's not necessarily an opinion, because that can be substantiated based on data.
Right. I was going to say, but in the case where you have blacks and whites in the same socioeconomic background, we've got, the hood, and then we've got, the white version of the hood.
It definitely exists.
Yeah.
It definitely exists, and
right.
I agree with what you said 100% about the divisions, and I think a lot of people are so busy focused on that they aren't looking at, hey, wait a minute, we're all one here.
What would happen if we all got together? Woo, that would scare some folks.
It certainly would.
All right, we'll be right back on the Live Exchange.
Adopt US Kids presents Multiple Choice Parenting.
You've accidentally cut your daughter's bangs unevenly. Do you A, line things up a centimeter from her hairline?
Man, oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man.
No. Sweatbands are so hot right now. Everyone's wearing them. Like that basketball player and that other basketball player.
B, get spiritual.
Mom, where did all the mirrors go?
A reflection could never capture our true selves.
Huh?
Beauty is within.
C, look on the bright side.
Less time blow drying, more time texting.
Or D, show empathy.
Mom, you really don't have
Ta-da! Twinsies!
I kinda love it. As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
For more information on how you can adopt, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Uncle Dan? Mom?
Dad?
If you store your guns properly, so not just anyone can get to them.
I'll feel safer when I'm playing outside.
Safer when walking home.
Safer when my friends come over. As your neighbor, I'll feel safer.
As a school teacher, I'll feel safer.
We'll all feel safer.
Your family, friends, and neighbors are all counting on you. If you own a gun, you have a full-time responsibility. When you aren't using it, be sure it can't get into the hands of curious children, troubled teenagers, a thief, or anyone else who might misuse it. Remember, always lock it up. For more information on firearm storage safety, visit ncpc.org. This message brought to you by the National Crime Prevention Council, the Bureau of Justice Assistance, and the Ad Council.
What's up, sis?
Nothing. Just sitting here reading about HIV in Atlanta and its surrounding areas. Did you know we're number 8 in the nation?
I know.
You need to get tested.
Nah, I don't get down like that. I'm good.
But you are a ladies' man. You don't know who they're with when they're not with you.
If I need to get tested, so do you.
No, I don't. I'm married.
True, but you don't know who he's with when he's not with you.
Oh, you got jokes. He's not like that.
Fact is, no one really knows what their partner is doing or who their partner is with when they're away.
Well, I'll get tested if you get tested.
Cool. Where can we go?
This article I'm reading says the Lifeline Project of CSB does free HIV testing. Let's go there.
Lifeline Project, here we come.
The Lifeline Project is a SAMHSA grant. For more information on free testing, please call 770-499-2422 or visit us on the web at www.cobbcsb.com.
If you're looking for that ratchet, you're in the wrong place. It's the nation's urban internet station, Sensation Station Network.
Oh, we're back. Welcome back to the Live Exchange. I'm Dr. Pamela. They're giving me juicy stuff that they say I can't say on the air. So I'm like, what? We'll see by the end of the show. No, I'm just kidding. We are talking about the mind, and I just talking about an article in which there were protesters from the Black Lives Matter movement, as well as, I like that better. I like saying that better than the Black Lives Matter protesters. There were protesters from the Black Lives Matter movement, and they were met across the street for some counter protesters, and it turned into like this beautiful kumbaya, prayer, tears, we're all one type thing. And you know what's interesting? One of my Facebook, two of my Facebook friends were very skeptical about that interaction. One person said, yeah, I wonder if that was even real. And another person, I can't remember what he said, but he kind of went on a long tangent about the validity of it.
Well, I'm actually glad that you mentioned that, because that brings, I had made a note a few minutes ago regarding a Mother Teresa quote that I heard about. And this actually deals with the mindfulness, and as far as what type of energy are you putting out? Are you putting out positive or negative? So when you protest something, you're going against it. And the quote that I heard regarding Mother Teresa was from the Vietnam era. And some protesters asked her, they said, we want you to participate in this protest march against the war. And as the story goes, she said, no, I won't participate in a protest march against the war. However, when you have a march for peace, I will participate in that.
Interesting.
And so this goes when you're constantly protesting, you're putting all your energy against that which you don't want.
Yes.
So as you're directing all your energy into that which you don't want, that's exactly what you're going to create, that which you don't want.
I love how he falls into exactly one of the things I was going to bring up. But
So
I'm going to let you finish your point.
In my opinion, and I think this validates it, what happened when they came together peacefully, organically, and in harmony, everybody was on the same accord. So, I'm a firm believer in that. I'm not much for protesting or going against something. It's like if you don't want to see A, don't go against A, be for B.
That's great. Wow. So, this morning I'm part of a Bible study called Mosaic, and it's led by Dennis Ross. And I saw a post that he actually made it on Sunday, and I came across it today. And it's interesting that the show today is about mindfulness, and that I came across this post, and I'm gonna read it. I was gonna read it later, but you just brought this up, and so I've got to go to it now. But here's the post, and it's, just bear with me for a second. It's worth reading the whole thing. Interesting how people around the world talk about energy, good energy, bad energy, vibration, and the like. They seem to have forgotten one vital principle in the energy paradigm: opposites attract. More specifically, force can cause action at a distance. This means opposites that have never touched can create a real action that touches everyone. You don't draw a positive with a positive. And so it is that if you are ferociously against something becoming something, you have just elevated their probability of becoming precisely that. So So what do you think happens when millions of people desire for something not to happen or for something not to become something? The more people express their disapproval, the stronger this person becomes, or this movement, or this event. The force of force forces what you don't want to become reality. Opposition is the ultimate enabler. In some cases, it is simply better to be silent about what you don't want and keep that energy to yourself. Now do you understand why God tells us to love our enemies? Dennis Ross.
You can't have positive without a negative. Look at a battery.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I made notes of this later, but this is actually getting part of the 12 universal laws, where the law of opposites. So there's the yin and the yang, the masculine and the feminine that all of us have. The left side being our feminine side, the right side being our masculine side.
Right.
So I agree with that 1,000%, which again is why me personally, I don't protest anything. I don't go against anything. You know, if it's not, like you said, if it's not something that you want, keep it to yourself or be for the opposite.
Right, right. Wow, you know, and I never really thought about it that way. I've heard about the law of attraction and that kind of thing, but I've never thought about the opposite, component of it. And that leads us straight into, I'm loving how this is just flowing. It's flowing, but it's leading us straight into the research.
In the interest of science.
Okay, so the science for this morning is based on the law of attraction. And the law of attraction, by definition, is the name given to the maxim, like attracts like. Which in New Thought philosophy is used to sum up the idea that by focusing on positive or negative thoughts, a person brings positive or negative experiences into their life. So what I had limited that to meaning is if you think, if you go against something, if you think negative, that negative thing is going to happen. If you think positive, that positive thing is going to happen. I never really thought about the element of opposites. So that was mind-blowing and like huge for me. This belief is based on the idea that people and their thoughts are both made from pure energy, and the belief that like energy attracts like energy. So that doesn't necessarily speak to the opposite piece of it, or does it? Am I missing?
Well, no, again, just like the Black Lives Matter movement, they are protesting or going against police brutality against people of color. So again, all of their energy is being focused against it. We're against it. We don't want this. This is not what we like. So it's all, they're looking at, I'm assuming, they're viewing it as positive energy. However, it's being put out against what they really want. So remember, the universe is constantly, as I've studied it, the universe is constantly creating. So when we're putting this energy out, it's just giving us back what we put out.
So it's negative energy out,
Negative energy back.
in. Okay.
Exactly.
Got it.
Exactly.
Wow. So the law of attraction, there's a lot of research that talks about the areas of our lives that the law of attraction can influence, and I'll just tell you those are health, financial, relationships, and our ambitions. Now, of course, the scope is larger than that, but those are the four main areas that are looked at when we look at the law of attraction. And so a core claim by New Thought authors is that our thoughts directly influence our health, and that this is due to the law of attraction. So they believe that worry, fear, stress, and other negative thoughts make people sick, while positive thoughts of wellness or love can move people healthy and even cure illness.
People have actually healed and cured themselves of quote-unquote incurable diseases just with the power of their mind. Now, this isn't just me coming off the top of my head. This is me telling you what I've read from scientists that have documented this in studies.
So, and it continues to be something that people challenge, especially when we come, across people who are in the hard sciences. So I had this exact debate with a really good friend of mine just this week, and he was quick to jump in and say, look, let's not forget that I'm a biology major, and his thought was medication. And my thought was, but there's some ways that you can be mindful. And I get that there's cases in which medication, let's go that route, some cases in which if we change our minds, we can heal ourselves. And he just thought that was a bunch of crap. Like, he was just like, I'm not hearing that. I'm not hearing that. I'm not hearing that. So how do you, I mean, I don't even know if it's possible to kind of get people to think differently about health and the mind.
Well, one of the things I do, I don't try to convince anyone. I used to.
So that was my first mistake.
Yeah. No. Don't. Once you come to this point of consciousness or enlightenment, really it's just your job to just shine. And those people that are ready for it, you're going to attract them.
Let your life speak.
Let your life speak. Yeah. That's it. And so
Parker Palmer, by the way.
Okay. And so when it comes to medication, from what I've seen, they don't cure any illnesses. And I remember watching I think it was the Shark Tank, and a gentleman on there had a breathing apparatus, and it would help cure. It was cure like allergies or whatever, because it was basically like filter, and so it would help improve the health and actually cure. I'm going to say allergies. I'm not sure if that was it, but it was basically cure it. So he took it to all the big pharmaceutical companies, and they all turned him down. And he said this on Shark Tank. He said that all of those pharmaceutical companies told him, said, look, there is no profit in curing the disease. There is profit in treatment. So this was said on the Shark Tank.
That's where all the profit comes in. Yeah.
Yeah. So for those people in the pharmaceutical industry, if you were to cure all the diseases, where would your money come from?
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Interesting. Okay. Well, and I'm a conspiracy theorist, so I kind of wholeheartedly believe that. But we will be right back, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about this theory as it pertains to financial relationships and ambition, and so stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Coming to Tampa Bay, I said we want to win a Super Bowl, and I believe we will.
From IamSecond.com.
We came close, but never really did win that championship.
Former NFL head coach Tony Dungy.
Next year I was fired, and it was one of the biggest disappointments of my life. Next year, I'm in Indianapolis, we get to the playoffs, but get knocked out. For the next couple of years, it's the same thing. Everyone is saying Colts are never going to win one. And I did wonder, why didn't it pan out the way I thought it would? But I determined that I had to have Christ first, and that everything else came below that, including my own desires. The next year, that ended up being our year to go to the Super Bowl and win it, and it was a wonderful feeling. Every decision I make, I'm going to make it through the lens of Jesus Christ, and He guides us to that ultimate victory. I'm Tony Dungy, and I am second.
Great leaders aren't born. They're made, and not just anywhere. They're made in special places by special qualified trainers in places like the Academy of Creative Coaching. The Academy of Creative Coaching is an international certification program with courses in health and wellness coaching, spiritual coaching, relationship coaching, executive coaching, life coaching, and cultural competency coaching. Courses are online, hybrid, or face-to-face. The Academy of Creative Coaching is empowering coaches to empower the world. Make a positive change in yourself and the world. Go to academyofcreativecoaching.com.
Adopt US Kids presents Multiple Choice Parenting.
You've accidentally cut your daughter's bangs unevenly. Do you A, line things up a centimeter from her hairline?
Man, oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man.
No. Sweatbands are so hot right now. Everyone's wearing them. Like that basketball player and that other basketball player.
B, get spiritual.
Mom, where did all the mirrors go?
A reflection could never capture our true selves.
Huh?
Beauty is within.
C, look on the bright side.
Less time blow drying, more time texting.
Or D, show empathy.
Mom, you really don't have
Ta-da! Twinsies!
I kinda love it. As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
For more information on how you can adopt, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
This is what legends are made of. This is what legends are made of.
As long as I see that fire in your eyes, I know we still good.
I do it off of the love.
We built this family, and this family's strong.
Empire on Fox.
And so a new American industry has been born.
Sensation Station Network.
Keeping your balance with Dr. Pamela. Dr. Pamela. Dr. Pamela.
All right. This week's balance challenge is I really want you to think about what you're thinking. So that's called metacognition. Think about your thoughts. So this week's challenge, and there's a new word for some of you, metacognition. I want you to think about what you're thinking. Has your thinking been designed to protect you, to advance you, to hold you back, to bring you closer to people, to distance yourself? How have your thoughts impacted your life? Is your life fulfilling? If not, what changes can you make in your thinking to change your life? What changes can you make in your thinking this week to change your situations? Now, I'm not saying that you change your thinking this week and tomorrow the situation will change. Now, that very well can happen, but I'm not saying that is how it always happens.
That's the exception.
That is the exception. And if that does happen, please let us know, because I want to hear that testimony. But it begins with your thinking. So how can you start? What are some ways in which you can enhance your thinking and think in a more positive way? During the break, we were talking about how Black Lives Matter protests are being framed as protests, which is a negative framing. They could be framed as Black Lives Matter peace rallies or peace gatherings or something like that, and it would change the mindset of how it's perceived. It would change the mindset of how it's even received by the people who are a part of it. And I don't think that members of the Black Lives Matter, participants of the Black Lives Matter movement, gave themselves that label. That's a label that was given to them from the outside as a way to frame this as a negative thing. And so it's really important that we think about the mindset and which direction our minds are taking our lives. So that is the challenge for you this week. We are going into Thanksgiving, and as cliche as it may sound, it may be a really good time to really focus on the things that we are grateful for and to go into mindsets of gratitude. So one of the things that we were talking about before the break, I gave some research on what the law of attraction is, and we looked at the law of attraction from the standpoint of health, but there's also financial. It is claimed that if a person consistently thinks prosperous thoughts, then irrespective of their actual situation, they will experience prosperity in the future because, again, like attracts life. That might not have been a Freudian slip. Like attracts like. Conversely, if a person consistently thinks that they are poor, then that will be their future experience, which is so funny because I am always telling my daughter, nope, we're broke. Nope, we're broke. And I know. And so not only am I feeding, this is an epiphany. I'm having a real-time epiphany. So not only am I feeding myself with that mindset, as true or as untrue as that may be, I'm also feeding her with that mindset. And that stuff is contagious.
It is.
Oh, I'm going to stop that today. I am. That's my challenge. We're not talking broke no more.
No. No. Leave that what's today, the 17th?
Yes.
Leave that pre-November 17th.
Yes, that is pre-November 17th talk.
Yes.
The next one is relationships. The law of attraction proponents claim that it affects our relationships because whatever we focus on, we experience more of. So if an individual focuses on another person's good qualities, then they experience more of those. Whereas if they focus on what they dislike about that person, then those will be the characteristics of that person that they experience.
Now, just to add in on that, for all the men and women out there who are focusing on it's no good women out there, it's no good men out there.
Hello.
And you keep attracting that, now you know why.
Yeah. Woo, that's good. That's good. Did you guys get that? If you guys got that, I want to see some hearts, because that's heartworthy. You can't tell me that's not heartworthy. But it's true. It's true. Those are the things when we focus on the lack, those are the things that we end up experiencing.
You can't change your external reality until you change your internal reality first.
That's really good.
Mm-hmm.
That is really good. I love that. And people, oh my gosh, I have been accused of being too happy-go-lucky. And why I mean, literally have made people angry because I'm looking at the bright side. You have to. And it drives people crazy.
But you know
they don't
what?
Like that.
You know what that may be telling you? It may be time for you to sort of disassociate yourself with certain people.
Oh, yeah.
And, on this spiritual conscious journey, it happens. I've had to do it myself. People that I've been friends with since college, I've had to let go because we were vibrating on different frequencies, and they didn't want to come up to mine, and I wasn't about to go back down to theirs.
Well, that's big. I mean, and I have an ex-friend of mine who I called her out on something that I thought was a little shady, but I wasn't hating, and I wasn't like doing it to end the friendship, or I wasn't doing it to embarrass her. I was doing it just to let her know, like, I see it and I know that this is happening. And maybe there's some ways in which we can talk about, how to come together as a result of it. Her thing was, why are you being so sweet and happy-go-lucky about it? Just tell me how you really feel. Why don't you be? And I'm like, I am. I just called you out on it. I mean, what do you want me to call you names? How do you want me to do this? But it wasn't my approach. That wasn't how I did things. And I think because I didn't lash out and have all the wrath, sometimes people get afraid that, okay, but when is the other shoe going to fall? Because you're really nice right now. And for me, really nice is kind of where it goes, and as she pushed and pushed and pushed, I eventually just ended the contact altogether, but I still did it in a very sweet way, like, because I don't want to bring in that negative.
Well, think about it. most people are wired, and I used to be there. Again, I'm speaking on my experience on this. When you're feeling sort of bad about yourself, it may not be something that you're conscious about, but when you have so much negative energy floating around on the inside of you, and you're going to pick an argument with somebody, you naturally want that other person to engage you in the argument.
And if they don't,
you like, wait a minute, this isn't what I wanted. No, fight back, cuss me out, do something, say something. Talk about my mama, talk about my daddy. Don't just sit there and smile.
Right.
And so it's all about frequencies. And I tell people, I said, think in terms of the radio in your car. You can tune from station 1 to station 2 to station 3 to 4 to 5. You have all these stations. Those stations are all sent out on various frequencies. So if someone is on the frequency of anger, pent up frustration, you have the option, and what you did, you chose not to go down to that frequency because it was a lower frequency. You chose to stay on a higher frequency. So that's why you guys had such a disconnect, because y'all weren't on the same frequency or levels.
Right. Right. Wow. That does happen a lot. And there's a lot to this frequency thing. So the last time Chuck was on the show, he actually got me hip to this whole music.
528.
Yeah. Say it again. What is it?
It's 528 frequency.
528 frequency. Google it. Go to YouTube. Type it in. 528 frequency. 528 frequency. And what it does, it's music, it's sounds that are calming, that are healing. What's the tell them.
Okay, so let's see. Let's go back to and I'm real big on situations like this. When I talk, I like to give my experiences, but at the same time, I like to go to sources to define things.
Okay.
So went to Webster for the definition of frequency.
All right.
So frequency is defined as the number of complete oscillations, and oscillations is movements up and down per second or round and round of energy as sound or electromagnetic radiation in the form of waves. So what we have with the 528 frequency, if you think of everything vibrating, and everything is vibrating on a frequency scale, and frequencies is measured in hertz. So you'll see like Hz. So
528 Hz.
Yes. So when we as humans, when we cease to stop vibrating, we're dead. We're at 0 hertz.
Okay.
So depending on our level of consciousness, it goes from 0 up.
Okay.
Now, music itself is in a frequency category. So 528 is one of the higher frequencies. The higher the frequency of music, the better it is for you. And again, scientific studies have shown that 528 frequency can heal damaged DNA. DNA being the building block of all human life.
Wow.
So then, what these scientific studies have shown is that listening to 528 music, like you said, it had the calming effect. Because I remember I asked you about it.
And I did it.
And you was like, oh my goodness, it's just so relaxing. I sleep so good. And
I had my whole house like going with it.
Yes.
Yes, yeah.
Yes, and it calms you. Mm-hmm. But lower frequency music, it what they call dissonance. It goes against human nature. And it will leave you feeling angry, feeling upset. You're snappy.
Are there certain kinds of music that tend to have that frequency? That you can think,
what would be considered dissonant music? Well, let me say this. People would automatically think like rap, heavy metal, those type of frequencies. But there's actually a station which takes music, and it's the key. It's a certain key that it's played in. Mm-hmm. So you can play music in one key, and it's dissonant, or it's disruptive to our human nature. But then you could take that same music and you could play it in a higher key. And it'll be beneficial, and it'll build the DNA, and it'll calm you.
Okay.
Yes.
Wow. I love this. I love it. Okay. Good information. We're gonna come back to this, and then but first we're gonna go into our love letter.
Love Notes with Dr. Pamela.
Love notes. So this love note, and this one is a recycled one, and it's from the first show that we did on mindfulness. But I would love to hear Chuck's thoughts on this particular letter. So I'm bringing it back from level-headed husband. Dear Dr. Pamela, my wife is very much subscribes to the belief that what you think and speak into your life comes to pass. So she is very careful about the words she speaks and often critiques me on what I say. I don't buy into all that. I have seen her hope and wish for things that don't come to pass while I work hard to make things happen. I believe that my actions are key and that the idea of speaking things into existence is kind of ridiculous. This has been a never-ending debate in our marriage. Is there no middle ground?
Well, actually they're both correct.
Ooh.
Yes, believe it or not. So what's helped me, and again, I would say that prior to 16 years ago, before I began down this road, I would have probably looked at this as spookism and mysticism myself. Like, probably like the husband did. Uh-huh. But what's helped me is whatever your it is. So I'm going to say it, whether it's getting a new job, starting a business, buying a house, buying a new car, having peace of mind, whatever your it is, I say thoughts begin it, words amplify it, and actions create it.
Say that again.
Thoughts begin it.
Uh-huh.
Words amplify it. Actions create it.
I love it.
So they're both correct. You have to have the thoughts.
Yes.
Then you have to speak about it. Hey, I'm going to do this. I'm wealthy. Whatever your it is, I'm it. Mm-hmm. And then you have to actually take action to create it.
Right.
So all three work in harmony. They all work in harmony together.
So then his answer to the question is maybe it's not necessarily finding middle ground, but it's how to partner, how to bring this thing together.
Yeah, because
he's got one puzzle piece, she's got another.
Exactly. And like when we were talking previously, I mentioned to you, you look at a smartphone. Somebody didn't just go create that smartphone. They had to have a thought about it. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. When you get a job or start a business, you don't just do it. You have to have a thought. Well, let's see. I'm going to go look for. I should look for a job. I need to look for a job, or I'm going to start a business. So whether he realizes it or not, even if it's in the subconscious regions of the mind, which is really the most powerful, mm-hmm. and we can come back to subconscious because that's what's kind of got a lot of people messed up now. They don't realize that.
Yeah.
But even if it's in your subconscious of the mind, everything that you're doing, he's right. He gets out. He works hard. He does this. He does that. But that was all preceded by a thought.
Right. So I think the misconception then is that about mindfulness and about manifesting, what it is you want, is that people just sit there and manifest. They just think and think and think and think and think and and think that it's going to come. And for those of you who don't see the spiritual or the biblical connection to this, faith without works is dead. And so you can have faith and you can think about all of these things, but if you are not taking steps forward, then nothing's going to happen. And
that's one of the 12 universal laws, the law of action. It clearly says that you have to take action.
Right.
So just to have a thought and talk about it, that's not going to do anything.
Right. Yeah. Well, we had a comment from James Carter very early on in the show that I want to make sure that we include. Okay. And he says, I know that many people don't think that... I'm not sure. Okay, I'm sorry, James, if I'm messing up your quote here. I know that many people don't think that and are restive and not proactive. Being mindful requires a lot of thought, and thinking is hard for a lot of people. Ooh. Science proves, and as a researcher, I can't say that science proves anything, but science finds that 4% of our population thinks that 4% of our population thinks. 2% thinks they think, and 94% would rather not think at all. This is the way that 96% of the wealth in the world is controlled by only 1%.
Ooh,
woo!
Somebody's preaching today. but
wow.
He's right. I just said the subconscious mind, and people say, "Well, what do you think you're talking about?" I think every day. Okay, well, let's look at this. So, most people, now I used to be a part of this group. Most people get up in the morning, brush their teeth, wash their face, take a shower, fix something to eat, commute to work, go to lunch,
robots,
work, come home, eat, spend time with the family, go to bed, get up, do it all over again.
Oh gosh,
that's 95% subconscious.
Yeah.
So whether people realize it or not, the bulk of their lives is spent on autopilot, and they have no clue. So I agree with him 1,000%.
Wow, just going through the motions, going through the motions. We gotta wake up, y'all. We gotta wake up. Start using our minds. There's so much, and I'm trying to get us to cover so much in the show. We still need to get some definition of meditation and manifestation. So when we come back, we're going to delve into that. We'll be right back on the Live Exchange.
Sensation Station Network.
This is the Live Exchange. I'm a little blown away because we're at the top of the second hour already. When did this happen? Goodness. Well, welcome. And today we are discussing part 2 of The Power of the Mind and how the way you think shapes your life. I'm Dr. Pamela, and we're looking at mindfulness, meditation, and manifestation. And today's guest, Charles Chuck, VP of Client Management of iSuccess Consulting. He joins me today to share his experience and his expertise on how mindfulness, meditation, and manifestation can lead to powerful living. So for those of you who are just joining us, we managed to get through the definition of one of our M's. We did talk about which one, mindfulness. Yes. And so now I think we probably should move on to meditation and manifestation. It's not a 3-hour show, so we can't spend another whole hour on, on meditation. But would you mind giving us a definition of meditation?
Okay, so let's see what we have for meditation here. Okay, Wikipedia defines meditation as a practice where an individual trains the mind or induces a mode of consciousness either to realize some benefit or for the mind to simply acknowledge its content without becoming identified with that content or as an end in itself. The term meditation refers to a broad variety of practices that includes techniques designed to, listen very closely, promote relaxation, build internal energy, which is also our life force, our ki or prana.
Our what? Prana?
Prana, your life force, your soul.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
And develop compassion, love, patience, generosity, and forgiveness.
Okay.
So essentially, and let me say this, because a lot of people that I've talked to about meditation, they'll be concerned, well, when I start off meditating, I'll find my mind drifting. That is okay. When I started off, my mind started drifting to everything I needed to do for the next month. And one of the things that you can do is just calmly notice whatever you're thinking about. Just calmly notice that thought, but don't judge it. So, Dr. Pam, if you were meditating and you were thinking about what was something that your mind would drift to?
The next thing I have to do on my task list.
Okay, so let's say you're going to be doing a speech, and so you're thinking about, well, okay, this is what I got to speak about. So instead, your natural reaction would be like, I don't want to think about that. I want to just focus on this meditation.
And then I would say, I can use this meditation experience in my speech.
You could do that. But what you want to do is just say, hey, I thought about my speech. I'm not going to judge it. It is what it is. I'm going to let that thought go by. And so eventually you'll see your thoughts, these external thoughts that you're having, just going by. And before long, you'll just be able to sit there and just quiet your mind and not focus on anything.
Okay.
So that's the mindfulness meditation. But you can also use meditation. Let's say you need to prepare for your speech.
Okay. Oh.
So you can go into it like, okay, I need to focus on what it is I'm going to speak about at this event. Meditate on that, and you'll get the answer. You can also use meditations for manifestation. And one person I would highly recommend, if you want to get started on this, he has 2 CDs actually. And I still utilize both. Well, I utilize one. Dr. Wayne Dyer.
Oh, yeah.
Meditation for Manifestation. So that's to create the life that you want. And then there's one called Getting Into the Gap, which is real good for a beginner because it really walks you through how to be non-judgmental of your thoughts and get you to the point where you can meditate without focusing on external forces.
So I kind of get it, and I kind of don't. So when when you say, and we have to go to break in a second, but when you say that, I can use meditation as a way to consider my speech, that I'm going to go into full planning mode. I'm like, okay, so point 1, and so at what point does that not become meditation anymore? I mean, you can answer that when we come back, but that's one of the challenges for me is where meditation begins and where it ends.
Okay.
All right, we'll be right back.
Great leaders aren't born, they're made. And not just anywhere. They're made in special places by special qualified trainers in places like the Academy of Creative Coaching. The Academy of Creative Coaching is an international certification program with courses in health and wellness coaching, spiritual coaching, relationship coaching, executive coaching, life coaching, and cultural competency coaching. Courses are online, hybrid, or face-to-face. The Academy of Creative Coaching is empowering coaches to empower the world. Make a positive change in yourself and the world. Go to academyofcreativecoaching.com.
I am an American soldier.
I'm a warrior and a member of a team. I serve the people of the United States and live the Army values.
I will always place this first.
I will never accept defeat.
I will never accept defeat.
I will never quit.
I will never leave a fallen comrade.
I am disciplined.
I am disciplined. Physically and mentally tough.
Trained and proficient in my warrior tasks and drills.
I always maintain my arms, my equipment, and myself.
I am an expert and I am a professional.
I stand ready to deploy, engage, and destroy the
enemies of the United States of America in close combat.
I am a guardian of freedom and the American way of life.
I am an American soldier.
I am an American soldier.
I am an American soldier.
There's strong, and there's Army Strong. See what it takes at GoArmy.com.
People are always looking to invest in a good opportunity. So what if you could invest in the future of kids, like a stock? Not the kind of stock that's about making money, but a stock for social change called Better Futures. With your investment, it helps students like me go to college. My name is Charles, and I'm your dividend.
Invest in better futures with UNCF. Visit uncf.org/invest. A mind is a terrible thing to waste, but a wonderful thing to invest in. Brought to you by UNCF and the Ad Council.
What's up, sis?
Nothing. Just sitting here reading about HIV in Atlanta and its surrounding areas. Did you know we're number 8 in the nation?
I know.
You need to get tested.
Nah, I don't get down like that. I'm good.
But you are a ladies' man. You don't know who they're with when they're not with you.
If I need to get tested, so do you.
No, I don't. I'm married.
True, but you don't know who he's with when he's not with you.
Oh, you got jokes. He's not like that.
Fact is, no one really knows what their partner is doing or who their partner is with when they're away.
Well, I'll get tested if you get tested.
Cool. Where can we go?
This article I'm reading says the Lifeline Project of CSB does free HIV testing. Let's go there.
Lifeline Project, here we come.
The Lifeline Project is a SAMHSA grant. For more information on free testing, please call 770-499-2422 or visit us on the web at www.cobcsb.com.
Marie Callender's knows that you may not have time to roll out dough for a perfectly flaky crust that's made from scratch, or enough time to mix vegetables with all white meat chicken and a homemade gravy. She knows you may not have a moment to crimp the edges of your favorite chicken pot pie, but Marie Callender's does. And when she's done, all you need to do is find time to grab someone special, sit down, and savor. Marie Callender's, it's time to savor.
This is what legends are made of. This is what legends are made of.
As long as I see that fire in your eyes, I know we still good.
I do it off of the love.
We built this family, and this family's strong.
Empire on Fox.
Primary election.
Lack of diversity.
Gas prices.
Michael Glass. Trending topics.
All right, welcome back to the live exchange. So, trending topics. I love Roland Martin. Because what he does is he presents information and it's backed up and he knows what he's talking about. And so one of the things that he did this week, he was featured on, he's always featured on Tom Joyner Morning Show. And one of the things that he did is present his platform for America 2.0. And what that means is he has really a 10-point plan for what it is that we need to do to enhance the experiences for African Americans in this country. And so I'm going to give you, he gave the first 5, and I just thought that they were so important and compelling enough to share on the show. Number 1 is American racial prejudice must be destroyed. Now, I know, and he knows, that that's like a no-brainer. Like, yes, we need to find ways to destroy that. Now, while prejudice may not be, something that we can just fully destroy and get rid of, we can do something about the institutional prejudices that happen, that are kind of built within our system. That there may be some things that we can do that we need to consistently push against that, consistently fight against that. So number 1 is American racial prejudice must be destroyed. Number 2, appoint a black woman to the U.S. Supreme Court. He is saying that we really need to push to make sure that we've appointed a black woman to U.S. Supreme Court. Number 3, end voter suppression in America. Yes, we've had amendments that were passed and laws that have been passed to technically allow for, free voting or for, the vote for people to vote. But there are still, as we have seen with every single election that's happened in recent years, some elements of voter suppression that is still taking place. And so that needs to be continued to be pushed in voter suppression. Number 4, abolish the death penalty. And according to Roland, 150 innocent men have been freed from death row since 1973. 150 men. So, and have been proven innocent. And so it's really, that is problematic. 150. So how many more are there sitting on death row that should not be there? So abolishing the death penalty is number 4. And number 5, expand resources for HBCUs. There are, and what he recommends is that the government fund $5 billion per year on these HBCUs. And because there is so many, there's so much evidence that HBCUs do so much for their students in terms of positioning them, in terms of preparing them, in terms of creating a family for them. And so again, American racial prejudice must be destroyed. Appoint a black woman to the U.S. Supreme Court. end voter suppression in America, abolish the death penalty, and expand resources for HBCUs. What Roland is basically saying is that we may be discouraged and down and all of that, but we have to keep pushing. And, it's wonderful to march and it's wonderful to do all those things, but we need specific initiatives that we are pushing for that is really going to make these changes. And so I co-sign on these 5 that he proposed, because I think that if we all band together and we all come up, and this is not just black, white, everybody who is all about, Muslim, Latino, old, young, gay, straight, if we all came together to push for these things, this would free all of us in so many different ways. These are points that can benefit all of us. So I am with him on this. In his words, we are in the 3rd Reconstruction period. And he points out that there are so many, though the election may not have yielded the presidential results that we wanted, there are so many other areas in which amazing results came out of this election. One of which he points out that 9 black women were appointed as judges in 1 county alone in Mississippi. So, and one of the things that we're going to do is we're going to show or play a quick clip of Roland Martin in this particular initiative.
If you are depressed and despondent about what happened, fine, go through your stages of grief. Then it's time for you to get the hell up. It's time for you to understand that black folks during Reconstruction were engaged in a fight. Do you understand that the 2nd Reconstruction, the Civil Rights Movement, we were there? I call this the end of the 3rd Reconstruction. Many young black folks have lived through only a black president. But the fact of the matter is, we lived through President Reagan. We lived through President Nixon. We lived through other presidents. But black folks never just sat on the sideline.
All right, so we are we going to break? I don't know. Yes, we are going to break. And so the last thing that he said is that, and it was a quote from one of his frat brothers, Alpha Phi Alpha fraternity, and which he said, we are going to fight until hell freezes over, and then we're going to fight on the ice. I love it. I love Roland. All right, so, but I know that wasn't Roland's quote, but he said it, Anyway, we're going to break. We'll be right back.
JBT 700 Miami Circle 30324. It's not a chain, it's a chain reaction.
Invest $49 a month at a real gym.
For more info, go to facebook.com/Jeans Body Tech.
When I grow up, I want to be a new pair of blue jeans.
When I grow up, I want to be a kid's first computer.
I want to be a warm fleece on a cold day.
I want to be a football stadium.
I want to be a bike that races around the country.
I want to be a bench on a forest trail.
When I grow up, I don't want to be a piece of garbage. And if you recycle me, I won't be.
Give your garbage another life. Recycle. Learn how at iwanttoberecycled.org. Brought to you by Keep America Beautiful and the Ad Council.
I am an American soldier. I'm a warrior and a member of a team. I serve the people of the United States and live the Army values.
I will always place mission first.
I will never accept defeat.
I will never accept defeat.
I will never quit.
I will never leave a fallen comrade.
I am disciplined.
I am disciplined. Physically and mentally tough.
Trained and proficient in my warrior task and drills.
I always maintain my arms, my equipment, and myself.
I am an expert and I am a professional.
I stand ready to deploy, engage, and destroy the
enemies of the United States of America in close combat.
I am a guardian of freedom and the American way of life.
I am an American soldier.
I am an American soldier.
I am an American soldier.
There's strong, and there's Army strong. See what it takes at GoArmy.com.
Coming to Tampa Bay, I said we want to win a Super Bowl, and I believe we will.
From IamSecond.com.
We came close, but never really did win that championship.
Former NFL head coach Tony Dungy.
At the end of my 6th year, I was fired, and it was one of the biggest disappointments of my life. Next year, I'm in Indianapolis, get to the playoffs, but get knocked out again. And for the next couple of years, it's the same thing. Everyone is saying Colts are never going to win one. And I did wonder, why didn't it pan out the way I thought it would? But I determined that I had to have Christ first, and that everything else came below that, including my own desires. The next year, that ended up being our year to go to the Super Bowl and win it. And it was a wonderful feeling. Every decision I make, I'm going to make it through the lens of Jesus Christ. And he'd guide us to that ultimate victory. I'm Tony Dungy, and I am second.
Adopt US Kids presents Multiple Choice Parenting.
You accidentally cut your daughter's bangs unevenly. Do you A, line things up a centimeter from her hairline?
Man, oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man.
No. Sweatbands are so hot right now. Everyone's wearing them. Like that basketball player and that other basketball player.
B, get spiritual.
Mom, where did all the mirrors go?
A reflection could never capture our true selves.
Huh?
Beauty is within.
C, look on the bright side.
Less time blow drying, more time texting.
Or D, show empathy.
Mom, you really don't have
Ta-da! Twinsies!
I kinda love it. As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
For more information on how you can adopt, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
All right, welcome back to the Live Exchange. I'm Dr. Pamela, and today we are talking about mindfulness, manifestation, meditation, and just really how to live an empowered life through those 3 M's, as I'm calling it today. And I'm joined here with Chuck, who's really done a lot of research and is living this, I guess, more enlightened life.
A higher state of consciousness.
Higher state of consciousness, yes. And so we've defined mindfulness, we've defined meditation. What exactly is manifestation?
Okay, so didn't really find a definition that would really fit for what we're talking about, but essentially when you're manifesting, or manifestation is the process of creating your reality mentally, or beginning to create your new reality mentally.
Okay.
So if you want to use meditation to start a business, you can focus on that through the meditation, and through your thoughts, your words, and your actions, you can manifest it.
Okay.
Now again, that's thoughts, words, and actions
all coming together.
Yes. So I don't want people to take what I'm saying and say, call you back in a month, be like, Dr. P, Chuck told me to think about it. No, think about it, talk about it, be about it.
All right. Yeah, and it's important to whom you talk about it, or with whom, because
oh my goodness. Yeah, it's interesting you mentioned that, because I was just I had always been told through this process, don't talk to people about what it is you're going to do. Don't talk to people. And interestingly enough, I ran across something about 2 days ago which really defined it, and it was just like an aha moment. So yes, I still have aha moments myself. But the gentleman who was talking, he explained that. So the example he used was like a woman who's getting ready to get a new car. And she'll tell her girlfriend, I'm going to get this new car, blah, 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 my Benz, and girl, we're going to be rolling and profiling and stuff. And then, so a couple of weeks later, it comes up that she didn't have it. Her girlfriend's like, well, where is it? It's like, well, I didn't get it. Some popped up on my credit, blah, blah, blah. Now, what's happening is the people you talk to genuinely, from a conscious level, may feel, I really want you to have this. I'm really happy for you, outwardly and stuff. But subconsciously, it's like, man, why did it happen to her? I'm a nicer person to her. I've done more. I'm prettier. I deserve it. Those thoughts are energy. So we talked about the law of opposites. So that woman was putting out energy from, let's say, a positive standpoint of, I'm going to get it. They told me my credit was good, blah, blah, blah. But because of that negative energy that was put out by her girlfriend, it made something pop up on her credit that didn't pop up before. So
see, that's where this whole thing gets all controversial.
Okay.
Because some people argue, well, I can't control her thoughts. If I do what I need to do on my end, how is that going to hinder me from getting what I
want? Again, this example was just specifically with her talking about it. Her telling her girlfriend about what she was going to do. Now, let's say had she not said anything about it, her girlfriend would have never known that she was in the process of getting the bands.
Right.
But because she told her girlfriend about it and she shared that emotions and joy, which emotions are energy as well.
So she did the right thing, the emotions of joy.
Yes. But the wrong thing was actually sharing it.
Okay.
Yeah. So be careful who you tell your dreams and aspirations to, because it can limit your ability to manifest. And this may be conscious, this may be subconscious, but the thoughts from the people you talk to, those thoughts that they're putting out in the universe, it has energy. It has energy.
See, I struggle with that because I don't want other people's. I don't like that, and it's maybe a law I just don't like. But
Okay.
I don't like that other people's thoughts can have that much control over my life destiny, which has nothing to do with them.
It's only if you allow it. So if you're telling people about it, so whatever plans and moves you're making, just keep them to yourself.
That's hard. Because if I'm excited about something, like for example, last night I had an amazing writing night. It was great, and I breakthroughs, and and so what I did is I posted on Facebook. I said, "Amazing writing night. This was awesome." Okay. So I essentially told people what I'm doing, and even posted a screenshot of the manuscript I'm writing. You really can't read it; it's not that legible. Okay. But that's an example of me putting it to all of my Facebook followers. So God knows out of, all these people, what kind of energy that, they...
You just never know. And again, it's conscious and subconscious. Because sometimes people could be harboring resentment against you and they don't even realize it.
Well, and I know that's the case. Like, I know there are people who resent me.
Yeah. Well, that's good. That's good. That's half the battle.
So, but I feel like I have very little control over those people and their thoughts.
You don't have any control over it.
And so I just it's frustrating, I guess, for me to think that I have to hold back my joy that I want to post on Facebook or that I want to express, because there's some people out there who think negatively, even if it's subconscious.
Well, my advice, I would be careful about it. Like, of course, if you're doing something, keep it general. Don't go all into the details about it, because naturally, what you're doing, you want to give people, hey, coming soon, this type of thing.
Right.
But you don't have to give them the coming soon. Here's Roman numeral 1, and here's sub chapter A and sub chapter. That sort of thing.
I hear you. I still don't like it, but I hear you. All right, we are coming back. Stay with us on the Live Exchange.
So, I'm a dog, and I just got adopted by this new human guy, and I'm starting to wonder how he got along without me. I mean, okay, something as simple as walking around the block. He's got this leash thing, and he puts me on one end and him on the other, and I'm just taking him around. I think he's afraid of getting lost. Without that leash and me guiding him along, I don't think he'd find his way back home. But it's kind of cute.
A person is the best thing to happen to a shelter pet. Be that person. Adopt. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the ShelterPetProject.org.
Okay, so 5 tacos of cheese and a large soda. That's $10,012. Please drive around.
Wait, 10,000 what?
It's obvious you're buzzed and driving.
I've only had a few. I'm fine.
Yeah, the food's $12, but getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Please drive around. Actually, just park and come in.
Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
When I grow up, I want to be a new pair of blue jeans.
When I grow up, I want to be a kid's first computer.
I want to be a warm fleece on a cold day.
Football
I want to be
a
bike that races around the country.
I want to be a bench on a forest trail.
When I grow up, I don't want to be a piece of garbage. And if you recycle me, I won't be.
Give your garbage another life. Recycle. Learn how at iwanttoberecycled.org. Brought to you by Keep America Beautiful and the Ad Council.
Adopt US Kids presents Multiple Choice Parenting.
You accidentally cut your daughter's bangs unevenly. Do you A, line things up a centimeter from her hairline?
Man, oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man.
No. Sweatbands are so hot right now. Everyone's wearing them. Like that basketball player and that other basketball player.
B, get spiritual.
Mom, where did all the mirrors go?
A reflection could never capture our true selves.
Huh?
Beauty is within,
C, look on the bright side.
Less time blow drying, more time texting.
Or D, show empathy.
Mom, you really don't have
Ta-da! Twinsies!
I kinda love it. As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
For more information on how you can adopt, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Marie Callender's knows that you may not have time to roll out dough for a perfectly flaky crust that's made from scratch. Or enough time to mix vegetables with all white meat chicken and a homemade gravy. She knows you may not have a moment to crimp the edges of your favorite chicken pot pie. But Marie Callender's does. And when she's done, all you need to do is find time to grab someone special. Sit down and savor. Marie Callender's, it's time to save.
Listen, as a hiring manager, I've got to tell you, the best job candidate isn't always the typical candidate. Sometimes they're a grad of life.
Meet the grads of life. Young adults of unique determination and experience. An ideal fit for your company in an entry-level position, internship, or mentorship. They might not have every qualification you typically look for, but they're exactly who your company needs.
Sometimes the best candidates aren't the ones you're used to.
Go to gradsoflife.org to learn how to find, cultivate, and train this great pool of untapped talent. Brought to you by the Ad Council and gradsoflife.org.
In the interest of science.
All right, so the science that I'm going to bring to you on this second hour of the show is Schlossberg's transition theory. It's one of my favorite theories because we all go through transitions. We all go through, whether it's a marriage or divorce or starting school or finishing school or having children or having kids move out of the house. These are all transitions, and there's a very popular theory that kind of identifies it's really a robust theory, but I'm going to, because it talks about the types of transition, which is anticipated transition, so one that we knew was coming, like we know we're getting married, so we plan for it. Unanticipated transition, so something that was unpredictable, not scheduled, such as maybe a divorce or a sudden death. And then non-events, transitions that we think are going to happen, and they don't happen. So we're building up to this, and it doesn't happen. So Hillary Clinton's loss is a really good example of that. She's building up, fully expecting to be able to transition into the White House, and then for her it was a non-event. It didn't happen. So how do we handle our transitions? And according to Schlossberg, she identifies 4 S's that really help us or determine our level of being able to cope with a transition. So the 4 S's are the situation. What does the situation entail? How complex is it? The next one is self. So who are you? What are the personal and demographic characteristics about yourself that enables that transition to happen? Number 3 is the social support. So what intimate relationships, family units, friends, who are around you that can aid you in this process of transition. And then number 4 are the strategies or coping responses that enable you to go through this transition. Number 4 is the area in which I think mindfulness has probably the most is most applicable because your situation, and it also can apply to situation as well, especially if we're talking about manifestation. What kind of situation did you manifest for yourself? But what are also the dynamics that are around that situation? Did you consider that this transition happened right on time? Is the timing bad? The situation can also entail the trigger. So what precipitated this transition? What caused this transition? How much control you have over the transition? The roles. Did this transition result in some kind of role change? How long is this transition going to last? So is this a permanent thing? Is this temporary? Previous experience with this transition. Have you done this before? Concurrent stress. Are there other stressors that surround the situation that make it more complicated or make it more doable? And then your assessment of it. Do you see yourself as responsible for this transition or not? So all of those elements are around the situation. And again, the other 4 S's are self, social support, and strategies or coping responses. And so So that theory, I thought, is really applicable because a lot of us are going through quite a bit of transition, and it's really important to understand that the way in which we handle the situation, the way in which these S's come into play during that transition can make a big difference in the ease of it, the length of it, how you handle it, what you learn from it. So that is Schlossberg's transition theory. Any thoughts or anything to add, or should we just move on?
You brought up a good point, because as I was listening to that, I thought about that saying, perception is the only thing that is greater than reality. So you can have how can I put this? You could be going through a situation, and how you perceive it, your perception is actually worse than what the situation really is.
Right.
And if you can train, and I still go through this. I have to tell myself when something happens and I may start flaring up, I'll tell myself I'm in the now. I am in the now. Or I will say peace of mind, peace of mind. So just little trigger words to snap me back to say, hey, Chuck, listen, what you're going through is happening because it was meant to happen. And this gets into some more of the universal laws, which we can hit on later. But and I just say, hey, look, this too shall pass. This too shall pass. Nothing lasts forever.
So I have heard, some of those things that you've said, this too shall pass, this was meant to happen. Another one, God is in control. A lot of people last week didn't want to hear none of that. Like, do not tell me God is in control. All of a sudden, everybody who was Christian was like, I ain't Christian no more. Don't tell me God is not in control. Don't tell me God's in control. Don't tell me this too shall pass. Don't tell me that it happened for a reason. So all of these things that used to be sources of comfort, and I don't know, maybe for some people it never was sources of comfort, have suddenly become like the worst thing you can say. Yeah. What is going on with that?
It's interesting because literally that Wednesday, Renee and I can't remember if I called her or she called me.
This is his sister, by the way.
Yeah. And we both said, you know what, we're getting off Facebook. Social media, period. We didn't do any work that day.
Right.
We just shut it completely down because of all the negativity that was out there.
And this despair.
And despair.
Yeah.
And, you and I briefly talked about this earlier, but it's all in how you look at the situation. It is all in how you perceive it. And so I think that's probably one of the things that people will get upset with you about, because they're perceiving a situation as being bad, and whatever it is, you're happy, you're like, I'm great, I'm good, and it's like, no, get angry, get mad.
Right.
Yeah.
And with regards to the election, no, I wasn't happy with the results, but I had to instantly shift my thinking to, okay, so here's the reality of the situation. What are we going to do with this?
Yeah.
As a business owner, okay, business guru just got elected. There are some ways that I'm going to be able to benefit from that.
Exactly. And, like I mentioned to you, I said, how can I put this? There's pros and cons, in my opinion, in every situation. So most people will spend 99% focusing on the pros and not, the cons and not the pros. But if you switch that, you'll find things being a lot better for you.
And this is not to minimize. The cons are pretty dang bad. The cons are bad, so I don't want to disacknowledge that. But we still have to, in order to move forward, we have to look at the pros. We're going to go to break. We'll be right back.
Hi, this is Terry Crews, actor, former football player, and father of 5. I'm also an expert on drama. There's the good kind that comes with having a house full of kids, and there's silly drama like the drama around my percolating pectorals. And then there's the drama you can skip.
Skip the drama that comes with not having your high school diploma or equivalency. Find free adult education classes near you and finish your diploma. Visit finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org.
And leave the drama to actors like me.
Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ed Council.
This is what legends are made of. This is what legends are made of.
As long as I see that fire in your eyes, I know we still good.
I do it off of the love.
We built this family, and this family's strong.
Empire on Fox.
Great leaders aren't born,
They're made, and not just anywhere. They're made in special places by special qualified trainers in places like the Academy of Creative Coaching. The Academy of Creative Coaching is an international certification program with courses in health and wellness coaching, spiritual coaching, relationship coaching, executive coaching, life coaching, and cultural competency coaching. Courses are online, hybrid, or face-to-face. The Academy of Creative Coaching is empowering coaches to empower the world. Make a positive change in yourself and the world. Go to academyofcreativecoaching.com.
When I grow up, I want to be a new pair of blue jeans.
When I grow up, I want to be a kid's first computer.
I want to be a warm fleece on a
I
cold
want to be
day.
a football
I want to be
stadium.
a bike that races around the country.
I want to be a bench on a forest trail.
When I grow up, I don't want to be a piece of garbage. And if you recycle me, I won't be.
Give your garbage another life. Recycle. Learn how at iwanttoberecycled.org. Brought to you by Keep America Beautiful and the Ad Council.
Keeping your balance with Dr. Pamela. Dr. Pamela. Dr. Pamela.
All right, so this week's balance challenge is about examining your thinking. It's called metacognition. Think about what you're thinking. Think about your thoughts. And, you know, it's funny, I'm seeing J. Marie's comment that she left a little while ago saying, I'm so guilty of having thoughts of business ideas, but not taking action. And we talked about earlier how we, you know, it's not enough just to have the thoughts, but we have to pair that with action. But my challenge to you is to consider your thinking and whether or not your thinking propels you forward or if it keeps you in the same place. So my joking around with my daughter when she wants to buy a toy saying, oh, no, we're broke. Like, that stops today.
Yay!
Yay! Because all I'm doing is manifesting brokenness, and I don't want that. So I might tell her, you know what? Nope, we can't get it because we're so financially sound and we're doing so well with our money. We want to keep doing that.
There you go.
Is that lying though?
No.
So I'm gonna let him answer that question, but I want to make sure you guys get the challenge. The challenge is, you know, what changes can you make to your thinking to change your life? Has your thinking been designed to protect you, to advance you, to hold you back, to bring you closer to people, to distance yourself? And is your life fulfilling? And are your thoughts adding to your fulfilling life, or a life that's not fulfilling? What is your thoughts doing to result in the kind of life that you have? Okay. Are we lying to ourselves? So the question that I had for Chuck during the break was, you know, I am a hopeful, I've changed it from hopeless years ago to a hopeful romantic. I'm a hopeful romantic. I love love. Okay. I want to get married. I want to have a beautiful relationship. And I know that marriage isn't all flowers and roses. Mm-hmm. I've been there, but I that's what I want. And I'm like stumbling on my words because I'm afraid to say I want that, because if I say I want it, it means I don't have it, and the law of nature says if you don't have it. So help me with this, please.
Okay, so one of the things, and I had made a note of this, let's see. So your life today is the sum of your thoughts from yesterday.
Okay.
So I would tell people, well, let me digress for a moment, then come back to get to that question. In doing the challenge, when you're examining where you are today, take some time to go back weeks, months, and even years to look at your thought processes and patterns. And I'm fairly certain that where you are today, whether it's perceived, and I stress perceived, good, bad, or ugly, you will find a pattern from your thoughts, if you're honest with yourself. If you're honest with yourself.
Maybe.
Okay, so let me to answer Dr. P's question. I'm going to go through the 12 immutable laws of the universe, and immutable means unchanging, constant. So we're going to go through this to get to the answer for your question.
Okay.
All right. Now I want people to keep in mind, because I'm sure a lot of people are like, well, wait a minute, I've never heard of the 12 laws of the universe. And this manifestation and speaking things and thoughts and stuff. So let's go to the Bible for a couple of Bible verses, and we're going to tie those into it. So John the 1st, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God. John 1st, chapter 14 verse, and the Word became flesh. Genesis 1:27 So God created mankind in his own image. And in the image of God, he created them. Psalms 82:6. I said, you are God's. Proverbs 23:7. For as he thinks within himself, so is he. Mm-hmm. So now when we add all that together, the word, along with thoughts, create. And man was created in God's image. And we are God's. Not the God as in the big G, but we are God's. So if we are of the Creator's image, that means we have the same powers that the Creator does, just on a smaller scale.
Okay. And you know people are going to struggle with this whole thing about we are God's.
Well, I'm coming from the Bible. This is what's in the Bible. I'm not making this up. That is Psalms
I see it there.
82 chapter 6 verse.
You are God's, you are all sons of the Most High.
Yep.
So we have to go to break.
Okay.
So, but we have to get through these universal laws because I want to make sure we got that covered. So, if you want to know what these 12 universal laws are, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Marie Callender's knows that you may not have time to roll out dough for a perfectly flaky crust that's made from scratch, or enough time to mix vegetables with all white meat chicken and a homemade gravy. She knows you may not have a moment to crimp the edges of your favorite chicken pot pie, but Marie Callender's does. And when she's done, all you need to do is find time to grab someone special, sit down, and savor. Marie Callender's, it's time to savor.
When I grow up, I want to be a new pair of blue jeans.
When I grow up, I want to be a kid's first computer.
I want to be a warm fleece on a
I
cold
want to be
day.
a football
I want to be
stadium.
a bike that races around the country.
I want to be a bench on a forest trail.
When I grow up, I don't want to be a piece of garbage. And if you recycle me, I won't be.
Give your garbage another life. Recycle. Learn how at iwanttoberecycled.org. Brought to you by Keep America Beautiful and the Ad Council.
This is big business. This is the American way.
Station Network.
See ya.
All right, welcome back to the Live Exchange. I'm Dr. Pamela, and I'm here with Chuck, who is telling us all about the 12 laws. I want to know what these 12 laws of the universe are. So,
okay, so just running through these real quickly. The law of divine oneness. So we're all connected with everyone else.
So Robert Pierce just posted exactly that. Law of divine oneness. Everything is connected to everything. Okay.
We're all connected. Yes. Hey, good going, Robert. The law of vibration. Everything vibrates and moves. Nothing stands still. The law of action. This must be employed in order to manifest things. The law of correspondence. This is basically what states as happening above in the universe also happens here below on Earth. The law of cause and effect. Nothing happens by chance or outside the universal laws. What we reap, we sow, or karma. The law of compensation deals with the blessings and abundance that we get back. And this comes in the forms of gifts, money, inheritance, friendships, and blessings. The law of attraction, which everyone talks about, our
so
thoughts.
we only talk about one of the.
Yes, exactly.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, but the law of attraction is basically that our thoughts, feelings, words, and actions produce those energies that we want. The law of perpetual transmutation of energy. All persons have within them the power to change the condition of their lives. Higher vibrations consume and transform lower ones. Thus, each of us can change the energies in our lives by understanding the universal laws and applying the principles. The law of relativity, this is what basically says that we will receive a series of tests or initiations or lessons that we have to go through.
No, thank you.
And then, well, now here's the part. Here's because you heard this next term before, and that what we're to do is not look at it as being bad because there's always somebody who has it worse than us. It's all relative.
It's all relative.
That's where that comes from.
Do I have to like it, though?
Okay, I'm not going to touch that one. Okay, the law of polarity. Everything is on a continuum and has its opposite ends. Up, down, left, right, north, south, east, west, love, hate, good, evil, positive, negative.
Okay.
The law of rhythm. Everything vibrates and moves to certain rhythms. This deals with the seasons, cycle, stages of development. You and I were talking earlier about winter, spring, summer, fall.
Right.
The law of gender. Everything has masculine and feminine. This is the law that governs creation. This law manifests itself in the animal kingdom as sex, male, female. So as far as what you were saying, and that brings up affirmations for me. And affirmations, those are simply, I like to give the official here. Those are positive sayings that are used to reprogram the subconscious mind. A conscious choice of words that will either help eliminate something from your life or help create something new in your life. You affirm and create your life experiences with every word and thought. And I like to quote Louise Hay from Hay House Publishing. The secret to having your affirmations work quickly and consistently is to prepare an atmosphere for them to grow in. Affirmations are like seeds planted in soil. Poor soil, poor growth. Rich soil, abundant growth. The more you choose to think thoughts that make you feel good, the quicker the affirmations work.
I believe that.
Yes. So now, getting to Dr. P's perceived conundrum. So the thought is, what you were saying, that you want to be married. You want to have this loving relationship. So if you want something, that's just like me saying I want a bottle of water. Well, I don't have a bottle of water here in front of me. That's why I want it.
Right.
So that denotes an absence of something. So what I'm sending out to the universe is that I am without water. So the universe will continue to send back to me that being without water.
Why wouldn't the universe just send you water then? Why is it so complicated?
You have to, well, you know what, once you understand, and the reason I wanted to go through those 12 laws, I wanted people to be able to look them up, because once you understand those, then all of this begins to make sense. I understand where you are, because when I got started, it didn't make sense to me either. I was like, well, wait a minute, it seems like it should just be, well.
And I'm asking this because I'm really trying to understand. You know, I'm not trying to be like a
No,
brat.
I understand. So what you have to do is beginning today, see your life as being complete and whole. And once you start feeling the complete and whole, because I'm just taking it from that comment, like you may watch a movie or you may hear a song, you're like, oh,
that would be nice.
That would be nice. You know, I want that. So when you see that movie, you hear that song, it's just like, I already have it. My life is complete. Because, well, here's the thing. Think about these affirmations. So I'll do affirmations like, I have peace of mind. I am at peace. I used to be, when I first got started, I got started to manifest things. And I did, you know. Manifested a custom-built home, a couple of very nice, expensive cars, that whole materialistic lifestyle. I manifested it. Now, where I am, it's like, okay, there is no way to happiness. It's Dr. Dyer. There is no way to happiness. Happiness is the way. So once you become completely happy within yourself, you can't go without. And by saying without, we're talking about external forces.
Right.
So once you become completely happy, complete within, then that energy that you start to generate of completeness, of happiness, that will then permeate you out to the universe. And you will then attract a like individual who himself is complete, who himself is happy.
So are you saying that then we're basically telling on ourselves because the things that are happening that have not manifested yet in our life is because we haven't yet come to that place of happiness.
Exactly.
And so by me not yet having that marriage, because it's not a desire for everybody, but for me it is. And by not having that, so you're putting my dirty laundry out there. Then
we're gonna air it out today. You brought it on, so we're gonna spread it out.
That I'm not completely, because I will tell you that I must have fooled myself, because there have been many great stretches of my life where I'm like, I am all in, I am happy, I am fulfilled, life couldn't be better. And, of course, in 2016, for me, like a lot of people I'm seeing, it's been a difficult year. So it's, so I won't sit there and say, oh, everything's been great. But gosh, up until now, I think things have been I thought I've been pretty darn happy. So, have I been fooling myself?
Well, that goes back to the, which
relativity?
One? Yeah, the law of relativity and the law of rhythm.
Okay.
We're going to have ebbs and flows in our lives that there's nothing we can do about. No matter how much we wish this situation away, how much we pray this situation is there for our betterment. We do we don't experience growth without pain.
Yeah.
You know, you work out.
A lot.
Now think about it. It's basically when you're whipping your muscles. People get the misconception that you build muscle when you work out. No, you actually tear muscle down by working out. It's when you rest and recuperate that your muscles rebuild themselves.
That's good stuff.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, so stop wishing and praying the situations away. Look at when a difficult situation comes, realize it is there for your growth. It is there for your benefit. It's there to make you a better person.
Right.
It's there to push you to the next level. So a lot of times when we are experiencing difficulties in our lives, what we have to think about, what have we asked for before? What have we thought about? So have we thought about starting a new business? Have we thought about starting a new job? Have we thought about taking some gigantic leap in our lives? Well, that difficult situation is there to prepare you and propel you forward, not to hinder you.
Be careful what you ask for, y'all.
Be careful what you ask for.
Because you're going to have to get prepared for it, whether you like it or not.
All of these sayings have a meaning and, and a foundation from where they came from.
Well, and we can't even go into all this right now, Sybil, but I'm seeing Sybil put 2016 is a 9-year equals completion. And I have been saying that all year. This is a completion, and I always thought 7 was completion. But I thought there's something to this year because everybody's going through it right now. And
hey, Sybil.
But we cannot even go into it because we only have about 6 minutes left on the show. So how are you going to bring that up now? No. And Robert Pierce is saying, I have a lot to say about this topic. So we are going to have to revisit this topic and do a part 3 because I didn't even get into all that I wanted to get into. And there is a parable or a story that I really want to share with you real quick. And it comes from... It's called the Wisdom Project, and it's a story of 2 wolves. A fight is going on inside me, said an old man to his grandson. It is a terrible fight, and it's between 2 wolves, one good one and one bad. So, so a version of traditional Cherokee legend. So goes a version of Cherokee legend. The first wolf embodies emotions and vices such as hate, greed, arrogance, dishonesty, anger, false pride, superiority, and ego. The other wolf represents values of virtues such as peace, love, hope, serenity, humility, kindness, empathy, generosity, truth, and compassion. The grandson considers the metaphoric battle and asks, which wolf will win? The grandfather answers, the one that you feed.
Powerful.
Woo!
Powerful.
If you missed that, go back and listen to it again. But yeah, that I think kind of encompasses much of what we've talked about today. And I want to give you an opportunity because I have, to kind of give you any final thoughts because we don't have that much time left. But
well, I think that was such an apropos statement to end with. Because this is the case with everyone. There are 2 wolves that exist in all of us, and do we feed the negative or we feed the positive?
Right.
And so there are going to always be people who, and what I'm about to say may be kind of hard for some people to understand, but I think if you study the universal laws, the 12 universal laws, it'll make sense to you afterwards. In order for there to, and this is thinking about the law of polarity, you have to have opposites, a positive and a negative. There will always exist hate in this world, just like there will always exist love in this world. They're polar opposites. There will always exist negativity in this world. There will always exist positivity in this world. And so, as he was saying, certain people will choose to feed that negativity. And so that's why that's going to exist. So people can say, well, we're going to get rid of hate. We're going to get rid of bigotry, social injustices and stuff. But the fact of the matter is, once you study the 12 universal laws, you'll see that that's going to always exist because there are going to always be people that will choose to feed that negative wolf. But at the same time, that negativity can't exist without the positive. So there are going to be people that will always choose to feed that positive side as well. So that's great. That's awesome.
Wow. Yeah, and it's so funny because I fundamentally know these things. I think a lot of us fundamentally know these things. This is why they're laws. So when they're universal laws, they're things that we know innately. And so one of the things, and this is something that I've kind of touched on in my book, The Obsessed Entrepreneur, which I'm working on now. I don't know if I'm supposed to tell people that or not. I don't know. I gotta learn the language of. But what it says is love does beget love. It just doesn't always beget love in the time, place, and manner that we expect. Often the love, the hard work, and the strength that we pour into one thing manifests itself into another, or rises up when you really need it, or appears in the form of a friendship or a partnership that you didn't expect. In my moments of exhaustive, narrow-minded despair, I have to remind myself of this so that I can keep plugging on, even in the face of criticism, in the midst of betrayal, and on the heels of failure. People you've sacrificed for and loved the most may leave you. Projects you've spent years building may crumble. Fears you have may actually come to pass. Sometimes we handle it like champs. Other times we're sliding down shower walls, hugging our knees, drowning in our own tears of despair. I've been there. But at the end of the day, we do what we need to do, even if that means taking a moment to re-energize and collect ourselves, even if that means meditation. We push through the jealousy, the betrayal, the self-doubt, the fear, and all of that ugliness to stay the course. That's what an obsessed entrepreneur does. We follow purpose anyway, because it is that purpose that gives us life. That's all I got to say. So
that was good. That was good.
So
it was very good.
So I just really want to thank you for joining me on this show again. And I'm thinking, God, I need to have you back. Like we didn't even like we scratched the surface.
Well, as my dad would say, thank you for letting me come.
Anytime.
Yes,
But
I'd love to come back.
yes, because I think that when you come back, we really need to talk about some. So now, what do we practically do with this information? What is the language? And I saw that Renee actually posted about reframing language yesterday on her Facebook Live.
Yeah.
But what is the language that we need to use, and how do we take this and apply it to our everyday lives? And and so I definitely want to have you back to do that.
Well,
So.
we could definitely take up 2 hours just dealing with that.
Oh yeah, we could do a day-long workshop on this. But thank you all so much for tuning into the Live Exchange, where we exchange compelling dialogue around love, politics, and intellect. Join us next Thursday, 11 to 1, right here on the Sensation Station. I know that it's Thanksgiving, but there's still going to be a show playing. Whether or not it's live, it's still going to be a show playing. December 1st, we are going to have Jennifer Hannon-Glaze here. We are going to be talking about it's World AIDS Day, and we're going to have her here as well as somebody who is living with HIV and who's going to share her story. I'm Dr. Pamela, and remember, it's your life. Love it.
Well, you'll see what happens. Sensation Station Network.